In the junior lightweight division, 10-round affair between Kevin Kelley, the former two-time world champion, and Johnny West Gutierrez. Dave Von Tempo with a look at the rules.
Okay, Jeff, 10 points to the winner of a round, 9 or less to the loser. 3 knockdowns in any round and the fight. No standing 8 count. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell at all, and only the referee can stop the fight.
Here to introduce the principals, ring announcer Mark Biro.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miami Fight Night presents the main event of the evening, 10 rounds, junior lightweights. Your referee for this event is Armando Garcia. Here now are the principals first. In the blue corner to my left, wearing the blue trunks, orange trim, he weighs in at 133 pounds, professional record, 12 victories, 2 defeats, 1 draw, and 11 wins coming by way of knockout. El hijo de la República de Nicaragua, now making his home in Miami, Florida. Here is Johnny West Gutierrez. West Gutierrez. His opponent in the red corner, wearing blue trunks, orange trim, weighing 133 pounds. His professional record, 53 victories, 5 defeats, 2 draws, 35 wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from Queens, New York, and now boxes out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Here is former 2-time featherweight champion of the world, Kevin Kelley. Kelley, 10 rounds, junior lightweights.
English with you and Spanish with him, so pay attention, okay? Inglés con él, español contigo, pega atención, okay? These trunks are just fine right here. These are just fine right here, okay? Obey my commands at all times, protect yourself at all times. Obedéceme en todo momento y protégete en todo momento, okay? No te me descomponga, okay? Una pelea limpia, que esto es un negocio serio, okay? Good, clean fight, this is serious business. Touch gloves, good luck.
Main event of the evening, Kevin Kelley, Johnny West Gutierrez. Johnny West Gutierrez coming off a loss. He was knocked out by Lemuel Nelson on the undercard of a Roy Jones performance, his last title defense. And Kevin Kelley decides to come back into the ring after a 19-month layoff. He's had 2 fights. He's won them both. Looking to make it a 3rd. Here we go, round number 1.
Johnny West lost to Lemuel Nelson, a very popular fighter on the Roy Jones Jr. Series. 7th round action back in September. Let's see how he bounces back. And Kevin Kelley had come in with a nice distance victory, a 12-rounder in his 2nd fight back, and he can go rounds.
Kelley, a southpaw, rugged puncher, 35 knockouts on his resume. Always involved in wars. He hits and he can be hit.
2 wins, a victory and a loss against Smoke Gaynor. A fight against Nassim Hamed. He had Hamed on the canvas. So Kevin Kelley can have some quick explosive power, but he fancies himself more as a stylist now.
Has to battle the demons of age. Always questionable. You wonder sometimes fighters come back and make a half-hearted attempt thinking that they can win a championship. Sometimes come back as shells of their former selves. We'll see if that's the case with Kevin Kelley here tonight.
It depends on how you've been living outside the ring, and in the case of Kevin Kelley, 19 months off was good. I mean, he didn't get hit in those 19 months, and you get the wars a little time to recede, and then you can come back into this encore phase we spoke about earlier.
Johnny West Gutierrez hasn't faced near the competition that Kevin Kelley has on his ledger. Tough fight that began that layoff with Eric Morales, one of the best in the world. For Kevin Kelley, he lost that one, decided to hang it up for a while. Good little short right hand there by Johnny West Gutierrez. Kevin Kelley in a feeling out posture, not mounting too much of an attack. Snaps a right-handed jab in there as a counter to Johnny West Gutierrez. Caught him napping.
Johnny West will try to get the right-hand lead against Kelley. Double left hook. And then Kelley neutralizes that by going righty and then back.
Minute to go, round number 1. In a slow pace here to the first round, Dave.
And the guy switches a lot. Maybe you can catch him as he's turning back and forth.
Not a lot of movement from either fighter here. Kevin Kelley kind of warming up a little bit. Right hand just misses by Johnny West Gutierrez. Kelley poised, lands a combination. First crisp combination that he's thrown so far in the fight. 30 seconds to go, round number 1.
Kelley just missing. Gutierrez going to the body.
Kelley has that subtle cool that speaks of his experience. Veteran of these ring wars. 10 seconds to go, round number 1. Feeling out process is in play. Here we go at round number 2. Special guest joining us at ringside, Roy Jones Jr., light heavyweight champion of the world. Roy, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you. Good to be here.
Kevin Kelley in the ring, round number 2. Slow feeling out process in round number 1. What does he have to do to get back into contention for a title shot, in your opinion, Roy?
Well, he just got to take on fighters like this fighter he's taking on tonight who have good upcoming records and beat a few of them just to show that he still can pull off the upset. And I think he won't have a problem getting back into title contention. Kevin is still a very sharp fighter at this point. He hasn't lost much. He's been in some tough fights, but he fixed that problem with his eyes, and I think he's going to be okay.
Roy, you've wanted to move up into the heavyweight division for some time. You almost did against Buster Douglas a few years ago. Now you are. What was the difference this time? What made this the right fight at the right time?
Well, it wasn't necessarily that I want to move up in the division. I just wanted to fight for the heavyweight title once. And I got the opportunity this time to fight for the heavyweight title. Buster Douglas was not going to be a title fight. Therefore, it would have been a waste of time for me to go up and do that, then come back down and fight in the light heavyweight division, because you just went up, you beat a heavyweight who they said was washed up, and it didn't do you any good. So now you're back fighting light heavy. They don't want to see that. So if you fight for the heavyweight title, they'll understand. And that's why I just want to fight for the heavyweight title. When this opportunity came along, I said, hey, all I got to do is get the contracts done, and it's happening.
Midway through round 2 here, Kevin Kelley and Johnny West still kind of toying with each other a little bit. Kevin Kelley's corner telling me he was a little bit cold coming in. He gets a good left-hand shot that gets West's attention. What about taking the punch of a heavyweight, Roy? That's the question everybody's asking.
Well, really, I ain't interested in trying to take the punch of a heavyweight. I mean, if he catch me one, he catch me one. I'll take that just like I take it from a light heavyweight. But I ain't intending on taking too many punches. I'm planning on giving.
Roy, you go out there, everything goes right. It's just going to be one fight now, or do you think you would defend?
Well, I don't know. Once I see how I feel, I've never been in that weight before, so I have to see how I feel. Once I see how I feel, then I'll pick up my judgment from that point and move forward. But I am going out there to win that first fight, and I'll see how I feel while I'm doing that.
About Ruiz's tactics, his reputation, how does that affect how you go into that fight?
Well, I mean, it's a few things we'll work out, and I know that he has a bad reputation for being a dirty fighter. However, I think this is a much, much bigger event than anything he's been in before. So he has to realize the whole world will be looking at this, and it'll make him look pretty bad that he already has 50 pounds on me. He had to cheat me to win.
Got Roy Jones Jr. at ringside. Kevin Kelley in the ring, trying to do a number on Johnny West. West coming on now a little bit after taking somewhat of a boxing clinic from Kevin Kelley here in the early stages of this round. We'll talk some more with Roy Jones as this fight continues. Kevin Kelley trying to get on the title track here as we come to the close of round number 2. In between rounds here, Kevin Kelley getting set for round number 3. We got Roy Jones Jr., the light heavyweight champion of the world, with us. Dave Bontempo alongside. And Roy's going to take on John Ruiz. A lot of controversy getting that contract together. You finally got it signed. That had to feel good.
I haven't got it totally signed yet, but it's close enough to where I feel good about it now.
Roy, Spinks moved up, Holyfield moved up. You've seen fighters move up from light heavyweight on up into heavyweight. Some have done well, some have not. What are the things to keep in mind for you as you go into a heavier division?
The main thing to keep in mind is that I'm not a heavyweight, that I'm not going to be there banging with a guy. So I just got to make sure I maintain my same fight plan and do it the way I normally do it.
All right, we'll see if Kevin Kelley can execute his fight plan here against Johnny West. Kevin Kelley with the orange trim on his blue trunks. Johnny West trying to stay in his fight. A little bit of swelling over the left eye of Johnny West.
What do you think about a guy who's had wars and then has a layoff and comes back? What are the things that Kevin Kelley can focus on from this point on in his career?
Making sure they learn from those wars, and he sees that they didn't do him much good at all. He'd been better off had he just used his head and stay out of those type of fights unless you have to. I mean, there's a time you have to go to war. Like right now, if I fight when I fight Johnny Ruiz, I may have to go to war for a little while. I don't care. We going to war. I'm there for that. But that's the time to do it when you got a big fight like a Johnny Ruiz fight, not in these little fights that don't make sense.
There were 2 wars with Smoke Gaynor and Kevin Kelley.
Those were necessary because it was a title defense. Both fighters were really out to prove something, and they were both southpaw fighters, so they couldn't avoid one another. It couldn't be nothing but a war. And if he make 126, I'm sure they'll have another war because they both be more than eager to fight one another again. And I know that, I mean, it'll be a war again because they're going to be right there in front of each other.
Kelley shooting that left hand and scoring effectively against Johnny West here in round number 3. Midway through the 3rd stanza of this fight.
Right, we hear a lot of guys talk, okay, I've been in wars, and now I'm going to focus on not getting hit. It always seems to be a hard thing to do with guys. Why is that?
Because all the time before, they focused on being in wars. They never focused on not getting hit before. So when they get hit, all of that focus goes out the window, and it's right back to what they know. I mean, it's hard to teach a guy to dribble with his left hand when he's been dribbling with his right hand his whole life. If he gets under pressure, he's going to put the ball back in his left hand.
Roy, one thing about your series which has been unique is that there have been tremendous upsets. There have been fighters have to go in there, and there's no such thing as a house fighter on your series, which has been very good for the fans. What about your stable of fighters and this series?
I love the series. The series has been terrific, and I put my guys in because I want people to see them in and see them work. I don't want them in against people that they can just beat on easily. I want them in against people that are going to create problems for them. Therefore, when people see them, they learn something about them. They learn and they support them. They know that these guys come to fight. So if somebody's looking for a good opponent to fight somebody, or somebody that's going to come out and give it their all, they can look at any of my guys because my guys come to fight.
That should bring you more fighters, right? That concept?
You're exactly right.
Kelley picking up the action here as we come to the close of round number 3. Things starting to intensify, and his attack starting to crystallize a little bit. 10 seconds to go in this 3rd round. Kevin Kelley starting to pick up the pace as he tries to find another title shot. Back at the American Airlines Arena here in Miami, Florida, Roy Jones Jr. presents outstanding night of boxing. This is the main event, and we're in round number 4. Kevin Kelley, the former featherweight champion of the world, now fighting as a junior lightweight on 130 pounds. He's in the blue trunks with the orange trim. Johnny West in the black trunks with the white fringe, and it's been mostly Kevin Kelley so far as he's slowly starting to establish some superiority in his fight. We're ringside with Roy Jones Jr. A pleasure to have the light heavyweight champion of the world with us. Dave Bontempo also alongside. And Roy, so far Kevin Kelley doing what he has to do. Looks like he's grinding his way through the early portion of this fight.
Yeah, he's pretty much been having his way, but you also have to remember that Kevin is moving up in weight in this particular fight too. This guy's frame is much bigger than Kevin, so Kevin's punches don't have the effect that Kevin probably wants them to have on his kid yet. He has to just stick to it and probably work the guy's body a little more, and he'll probably wear him down. But the kid has a much bigger frame than does Kevin.
Roy, being a boxer and an announcer as you are, and Kevin Kelley has been, that an easy thing to do? Do you find there's a lot of challenges along the way in juggling them?
There are challenges, but it's easy for me and him. Me, because I'm such a student of the game, I can explain it to people in ways that they would never hear it from anybody else. It's so easy for Kevin because he talks 2,000 miles per hour anyway, so, I mean, you can sit there and listen to Kevin talk all day. He'll never run out of words to say, so he keeps people, keeps their attention because he got plenty of conversation for anybody that's out there listening.
What is exciting you the most? You've got the success with the rap record. You, of course, have the fight coming up, and you're managing fighters. You've got the series. You've got to devote all your energy. Of all those things, what excites you the most right now?
2 things that excite me mainly is I love performing for people. I also love to see these young fighters and see even the older guys come back and get another opportunity. That's my biggest thing, giving back and giving these guys a chance that usually people have given up on. But the most exciting thing in my life right now is the fact that I'm about to get a fight for the World Heavyweight title.
You know, it's interesting too, Roy. Dave Bontempo used the same entrance technique to the arena tonight as you did in your last fight. That's pretty spectacular. When he started rapping, we all decided to shut off his microphone.
But yeah, it's nothing more exciting for me right now than looking for that challenge. You know, a lot of people are afraid to take challenges, afraid to take chances. And I guess they had me mistaken and thought that I was afraid, but they're about to find out March 1st that I ain't scared of nothing.
And you put the Prince to shame with that entrance.
You know?
Who choreographed his last dance?
I don't know.
Kevin Kelley tasting a little bit of leather in this round. Nothing too effective from Johnny West, but he just tags him with the right hand. And down he goes on a counter shot from Kevin Kelley. Remarkable action. We'll see if Gutierrez West can get up. Can't be saved by the bell. The count continues. Armando Garcia, he's up, and this round is over. Wild action. Great exchange at the end of that round.
What happens is that question you asked, how do these guys convert from being fighters, warriors, to being a boxer? Kevin got caught with a real good punch, and he lost his mind and immediately went back to his war status, and that's what happens because that's Kevin Kelley. That's vintage Kevin Kelley. You hit me, I'm going to hit you back right away.
So it's good to lose your mind.
Sometimes it is. I mean, he didn't necessarily lose his mind. He lost that focus of saying, forget it, I'm not going to get hit. He already got hit, so forget about it. Right here, you see the guy bent, where I think he caught Kevin right there. Kevin caught a good body shot. That was the hook. In the right hand, he caught Kevin with 2 punches, and immediately Kevin is right back, bam, with the overhand left to counter that. Because he's mad, he got caught with 2 good punches. See right there, 1-2. Got hit him with a hook right hand. Kevin is not going to let him go with that. Come here. You know, Kevin is a very, very challenging guy.
Warrior type of stuff out of Kevin Kelley as he was winning the round by a slight margin, and then all of a sudden gets the knockdown right at the end of the round. Johnny West able to get up. Could not be saved by the bell.
Now, what about following this up here, Roy, for Kelley?
I hope he does, because the guy just caught him with another good right hand. He can't continue to get caught by this guy. This guy's bigger than him, so he needs to keep this guy's hands off of him.
Should he be reacting as if the guy was almost out last round?
No, he shouldn't. This guy's back together now. The guy had a whole minute to rest, really about a minute and 15 seconds with the 8 count, so he should take his time and try to set the kid up again. He can get him again. He knows he knocked him down that one time. He can knock him down again.
Excellent counterpunching, too, here by Kevin Kelley.
What about his use of angles?
I love the way he changes up. That's how he knocked out Smoke Gator one of the times that he knocked him out with a change up. He went from left hand to right hand right away and changed the angle on Smoke. And I think he uses that well. But like I said, Smoke ain't gonna go for it no more. Smoke learn from it. And these young fighters have to learn. So we'll find out right here whether this guy can learn to make the adjustment or will it work on this guy all night.
Has there anybody ever presented a real awkward style for you?
Yeah, I fought a guy named Rylan Williams once. And it was very difficult to catch this guy for about 6 rounds. And for about 4 rounds. Because about the 5th round, I think I finally caught him. And after that, it was over with.
Things getting a little rough in the center of the ring. Midway through round number 5, Armando Garcia not necessarily taking control. And perhaps there's some fatigue. I guess that's the thing you have to worry about, Roy, is the legs, especially off a long layoff when you're up there in age like Kevin Kelley is.
Well, the legs and the fact that, like I said, he is fighting a big guy here. He can't get into a trading war with this guy. This guy's a lot bigger than he is physically. He can't get in here and swap punch for punch with this guy.
He's been calling out and talking about Acelino Freitas. How would you see a fight like that?
That's a very tough fight for Kevin. A good payday for him, but this guy is a puncher like Kevin has never seen before. And I don't know if Kevin's aware of that, but I know Kevin's sparred with some middleweights, but this guy can punch. Acelino Freitas is a true puncher. It would be a good fight for Kevin because if Kevin can pull off the upset, it'll put him definitely right back in the top of the junior lightweights or whatever. But this kid, Freitas, is not a joke at all.
Big shot. Followed the short uppercut with a huge left hand. And Johnny West is on the deck. Says he's okay to Armando Garcia.
The angles again. He got outside of him. Used the right uppercut to get outside of him and shot the left down the middle.
We'll see if Kelley can follow up. Overhand right shakes up Johnny West.
Now he looks like he doesn't want the guy to get off the hook.
And Johnny West goes south again. He's on the canvas for the 2nd time in this round, 3rd time in the fight.
I don't think he'll get up no more.
Struggling to get to his feet. He looks hurt. He looks dazed. Garcia is not going to beat the count. It's all over. Kevin Kelley is victorious for the 3rd time in a row in this comeback. This time very impressively with a huge knockout win.
Well, the one knockdown at the end of the last round, and then as he sensed the opponent tiring, Kevin Kelley jumping on the situation and displaying his pedigree.
And he did it He did it very smartly. He didn't go out there and lose his head. He took his time and caught the guy, like I said earlier. He knew that if he was able to knock him down once, he should be able to knock him down again.
Let's take a look at some of the action from this 5th and final round. Kevin Kelley scoring an amazing knockout. Great action at the end of round number 4. As we saw in exchange, Kelley was rocked. Here's a look at the first knockdown by Kevin Kelley, Roy.
In the first knockdown, you see Kevin use the right uppercut to get on the right uppercut to get on the outside right there. He's outside. He stays there one more time, and there he goes. The guy goes down. He uses right uppercut to get on the outside of the guy's left jab, and he shot him with the left hand straight down the middle.
Well, he still reacted to the uppercut. He's getting hit with the next shot.
Exactly, because Kevin's on the outside using those angles that we talked about earlier.
That's something you would do, a little speed.
It would have been a little bit quicker, but you're right.
Yeah, but the concept,
Yeah.
the concept of the second punch while he's still reacting to the first.
Most definitely.
Well, you might have seen that action that you had against Glenn Kunga Kelly when you had the old cockfighting routine. Here's the second knockdown.
Here he's just throwing a big punches at him because he knows if he can catch him again, he'll knock him down. It's just a matter of time. That's why Kevin keeps throwing the big punches. The guy's trying to hang on for dear life, but Kevin knew right then that if he hits him once more, the guy was going.
And down he went. So Kevin Kelley picks up his 54th victory, his 36th knockout, and now has 3 wins in succession. Roy, always a pleasure. Great card. We'd like to thank you so much for having us out here and for putting this together tonight.
Thank you so much.
Outstanding.